Infinitive English. Together, we're gonna make your English better.
You don't want to be on the wrong side of this, son. I just don't want you to get in trouble.
Hell, if I'd have known there were sides, I wouldn't have been there at all. If I'd have known there were sides, I wouldn't have been there at all.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Infinitive English channel. I'm your host. My name is Rahman, and today is a special day for me. It's my birthday, and I turned 36 today. Oh my goodness, golly, wale. What is the better way to celebrate your birthday before going to an actual celebration? Dropping out the video for y'all, my friends. So, today, we have some special thing cooking as always, but today I'd like to take on some of my personal favorite TV shows of all time, Yellowstone, y'all. Yeah, some cowboy thing is about to drop on you. Let's get it. Phonetical breakdown.
You don't want to be on the wrong side of this, son. I just don't want you to get in trouble.
Hell, if I'd have known there were sides, I wouldn't have been there at all.
You don't want to be on the wrong side of this, son.
You don't want to be on the wrong side of this, son. You don't want to be on the wrong side of this, son. Let's break it down. Okay, Kevin Costner, right? Who plays John Dutton, the owner of Yellowstone Dutton Range. Okay, now listen to it again.
You don't want to be on the wrong side of this, son.
You don't want to be on the wrong side of this, son. Everything is connected. He hella connected to everything, didn't he? Ain't he? Right? But you already know by now. You already know by now what ain't stands for, right? So let's get the breaking started. So again, guys, everything is connected. Yep, everything is connected. So you don't wanna. Now again, like guys, well, obviously it's one of the first reductions. What's reduction is wanna, gonna, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Well, technically it's a phrase that is just being connected by the reduction. So some sounds will transform or just let go. Okay. So wanna, we know this. We already know this. You'd be like, Rahman, you already told us the one is the easiest one of them. One of them. But we're going to get there in a minute. Okay. One of them. It's not here. Oh shit. My bad. But let's get going. Bear with me, guys. Today's my goddamn birthday. So you don't wanna. Now again, you see, guys, we connected everything and we got this U and D, and then you don't, right? So the D somewhat may be transformed into a flip sound again, right? So you don't wanna be on the wrong side. So to be on the wrong side, well, some of you already get what this means, but for those of you who are staying out there wondering, like, oh, what does that mean? To be on the wrong side means hell of an explanation, isn't it? Okay, so to be on the wrong side, meaning to side with a party that is somewhat doing wrong things. Okay, so you don't want to be on the wrong side of this, son. Now, side of this. Let's talk about this one real quick. So we remember that of in the American English, it's or of, right? So he clearly said side of this. Listen.
Side of this, side of this.
Side of this, son. Side of this, son. In about the sun, right? So sun. So it's not like in the star, sun. It's san, okay? San, okay? It's not son, but san, all right? So side of this, son. Side of this. So in this case, you pick this one right here. And so it sounds like side of this. Now, backward sentence time, my friends. Let's get to it. Side of this. Side of this. Side of this. Side of this, son. On the wrong. On the wrong. Now about the wrong. So sometimes you may articulate this G at the end, even though we remember that those NGs, they are not the ng. They more like nasal sound. All right. So wrong. But it happens so that your articulation apparatus, well, the muscles of your mouth, right? Sometimes this good sound it happens quite naturally. So wrong, no. You see when I'm letting it go, a little sound good pops out. But it's okay. It's totally fine. I mean, there's no right or wrong about this, word. So like you just, go the way, like the more natural it is, the more right it is. All right. So wrong side of this, wrong side of this, wrong side of this, son, wrong side of this, son. Be on the right. Be on the right. Oh my goodness. Be on the wrong side of this, son. Be on the wrong side of this, son. You don't wanna. You don't wanna. You don't wanna be on the wrong side of this, son. All right, so let's get moving, y'all.
I just don't want you to get in trouble. I just don't want you to get in trouble.
I just don't want you to get in trouble. And as John Dutton there, I just don't want you to get in trouble by not knowing the specifics of lazy American English. That's why we're here trying to master your American English skills, whether it's listening or speaking, if you want to go there. So I just don't want you to get in trouble. Now, guys, again, this is just the Americans, they use this a lot, and they reduce this cup sound that we have here, as in the word cup, currency, mother, right? It's a stress swap. But he reduced it, he let it go, and and as a result, we end up in this video with just, okay? So I just don't want you. Now, guys, listen how he connect T and Y here.
I just don't want you to.
I just don't want you. You remember this one. So when T meets Y, the y sound, right? One, two. It could have been want ya. I just don't want ya. Depending, right? So it could have been want ya. So you remember in the American English, you is ya, or of course, you. In this case, he went with you. So that's why we have I don't want you. I don't want you. Now, again, my friends, we connected everything. I just don't want you to. Now, again, you remember this to in the American English, to, or the, depending on its position. And it happens. So in this position, we got to sound in between you, ooh, vowel, ooh, and neutral schwa as in to. Thus, it transformed into a flap sound. And he said, I just don't want you to. He went with the. I just don't want you to get in trouble, okay? To get in trouble.
I just don't want you to get
get in trouble. I listen to him again.
To get in trouble.
So, as usual, backward sentence time. Let's get it. In trouble. In trouble. To get in trouble. To get in trouble. Don't want you. Don't want you. Don't want you to get in trouble. Don't want you to get in trouble. I just don't want you to get in trouble.
I just don't want you to get in trouble.
Well done. You're doing perfectly fine, my friends. Let's get on with it.
If I'd have known there were sides, I wouldn't have been there at all.
If I'd known there were sides, I wouldn't have been there at all. Oh my God, sounds so complicated. But wait a second. We're going to break it down, and the complicated stuff is about to become way much more understandable. Let's get to it. So he said, if I had known. Now, guys, what do we have here? Past perfect tense. So it's quite complicated sentence here. But again, this class is not about the grammar. It's about phonetics. So let's get down with it. If I had known. So how can we pronounce this? I almost said abbreviation. Obviously, it's a contraction, right? So if I had known. So we have had here. You remember that the H's, oftentimes in the American English, they're dropped, right? So same thing here. This is how we end up with this contraction here, all right? So I had. So sometimes you may pronounce it as if I had known. But sometimes you may say if I'd known. And sometimes native speakers, they even drop the D, okay? They even drop it. So if I'd known. But it's only logical because if we're going to speed up this, if I'd known. But guys, bear with me here. take it with a grain of salt and try to avoid the grammar violations, okay? Try to avoid any grammatical violation. Try to speak clear because this thing that I'm trying to teach you here is mostly targeted at understanding, all right? But if you're really into this American lazy English specifics, you just can't go outside and use it in your speech. But keep in mind, if you reduce something, you do not just drop it. It's still there, and you have got to think about it when you do it, okay? So if I had known there was sides, it's almost sounded like he said there were sides because, well, maybe it's grammatically correct to go with were, but who knows? Again, it's not the grammar lesson, it's phonetical one. So let's keep going, all right? So you remember, guys, I will never get tired to remind you, my friends, everything is chunked, everything is put together. So what do we do if the sound that ends the word is the same sound that the next word starts with? We just stretch the goddamn thing, okay? Was sides, okay?
If I'd have known there were sides,
There was sides. If I had known there was sides, I wouldn't have. Now, guys, again, wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? Okay. It's a third conditional, negation. And once more, this is not a grammar lesson, right? So if you want me to drop some grammar lessons, just hit me in the comments. I will consider to do so, okay? But nevertheless, let's get back to it. I wouldn't have been. Now, I wouldn't have. So you remember shoulda, woulda, coulda, should have, would have, could have, right? In this case, this wouldn't have. Did he say I wouldn't have been there at all?
I wouldn't have been there at all.
Nope, he didn't. So, I wouldn't have been there at all. Now, guys, I wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. Repeat it after me. Wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have been there. And again, guys, everything is connected. And here we have this fella T, as in the word water, right? Water. It's not water, because water or water is British, right? British. It's not British, mate. It's American. Okay, it's American. It's American English. Okay, so it's lazy American English, right? So there at all. But it happens that he did not articulate this there. He did not say there at all. He said there at all.
I wouldn't have been there at all.
I wouldn't have been there at all. I wouldn't have been there at all. Now, guys, it sounds like no, at all. Now, you know what time it is. Backward sentence exercise time. All right, so let's get on with it. Flap sound. At all. All right. So let's go. At all. There at all. Wouldn't have been. Wouldn't have been there at all. Okay. I wouldn't have been there at all. Was sides. Keeping this S, stretching the S, right? Was sides. Was sides, I wouldn't have. Was sides, I wouldn't have. Was sides, I wouldn't have been there. Was sides, I wouldn't have been there. Was sides, I wouldn't have been there at all. Was sides, I wouldn't have been there at all. Okay? If I'd known there were sides, I wouldn't have been there at all. If I'd known there were sides, I wouldn't have been there at all.
If I'd have known there were sides, I wouldn't have been there at all.
All right, guys. I hope you liked this birthday video of mine. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something new. Don't forget to take a couple seconds of your sweet time, drop a like and hit that notification note so you won't miss any positive content going on forward. See you next time. Stay safe out there. And remember, together, we're going to make your English better.